I'm Stephen, USSR Robinson, and you're watching Sport Icons. Papa!
Right, so the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, have put out a training footage of Deontay Wilder, where Deontay Wilder is quite clearly talking to himself, where he's saying things like, I only got to do half that work to beat him. Fury ain't that good. He's not as good as what people think he is. He's a effing cheat, all that kind of thing. That's what Deontay Wilder is telling himself. Okay, he's muttering to himself as he's doing it. Now, there's a few ways of looking at it. You could say that he's lost the plot. Sure, that's very feasible. Why not? In fact, I think Wilder lost the plot a long time ago. I mean, look at those excuses. Those excuses as to why he lost to Tyson Fury are the worst I think we've ever seen in boxing. If it's just one or two of them, we can go, okay, fine, yeah, whatever. But the fact that there's so many of them, that there's a whole catalogue of excuses, is madness, okay? But Deontay Wilder doing this, you've got to be a little bit nervous for Tyson Fury, if you're a Tyson Fury fan, because this man is obsessed with Tyson Fury. He's been obsessed with him ever since February of last year. So over 18 months now, he's been wanting to land on Tyson Fury and put Tyson Fury out. Now, I do believe one of the reasons why he lost the rematch is because he overlooked Fury. He was remembering the Tyson Fury from the first fight, a Tyson Fury who was uncoordinated. His timing was way off. He was out of shape. Wilder was looking at Fury like, Fury ain't going to improve. In fact, even Wilder said, Fury ain't going to improve. He ain't going to get no better than that. So there's a very real chance that he overlooked him, especially when you hear Tyson saying how he's going to knock him out in 2 rounds and all this kind of thing. Things that Fury doesn't do. Fury's a boxer. Wilder would have expected him to try and outbox him. At some point, Wilder will catch him. So there's a very real chance that Wilder overlooked Tyson Fury. But the problem for this fight is that maybe this time, because Fury had it all his own way in the rematch, maybe he's overlooking Wilder now. Maybe. And if he is, he's in trouble. Inactivity, I think, has probably hurt Fury more than it has Wilder. Wilder, he's naturally in shape. Wilder doesn't have to do too much in the way of camp to be in shape, to be fighting fit. Fury does. Fury lets himself go in camps, especially during a lockdown period where there's not too much you can do. We know Tyson, of course, he was sat at home doing his daily Instagram workouts and that kind of thing, but that's not boxing training, okay? Wilder has his own facilities on his own home. So Wilder's been in training and he's been obsessed about it. We've seen Vladimir Klitschko after he lost to Tyson Fury. That Vladimir Klitschko that took on Anthony Joshua was an obsessed one. That was somebody who wanted to correct his loss, get back on top of the division again. It's going to be the same thing with Wilder. So don't be surprised if Deontay Wilder chins Tyson Fury in this fight. And maybe do it early as well. Don't be surprised if Wilder comes out the blocks at Tyson Fury. Don't be surprised. Of course, I want Tyson Fury to win. As much as I don't like the fact that he's lying. I don't like the fact that I feel conned by him and the whole Anthony Joshua situation. I don't like that. But his boxing ability is phenomenal. He's a Brit. Of course I want him to win. Of course I do. And there's nothing worse than the Deontay Wilder fanatics out there trolling the comment sections. Nothing worse than that. Okay? Don't get me wrong. Some of the Fury fans are borderline close to them right now. So in some ways, one good thing about this third fight is that one set of and it is an unfortunate minority of each fan base, because I think Fury and Wilder both have some very good fans, but they've got some real toxic fans as well. At least they'll disappear. It will shut one of them up for good. Because for the Fury fans who's been going in and mocking about Anthony Joshua and whatever else, refusing to give Usyk credit, instead focusing on Anthony Joshua, he's overhyped and he's no good. Well, at least Anthony Joshua lost to a pound-for-pound fighter. What's Wilder? He's a one-trick pony. Take that right hand away, he's got no substance. That's the truth of it. So Fury, with his skill set, lose to a Deontay Wilder, that is far, far worse. So as much as I'm going to be gutted for Tyson Fury, as much as I'm going to be very upset for him, and I will be. Genuinely, I will be. Part of me is going to have a little bit of fun with it. I'll console myself by having fun with the fanatics of Tyson Fury. Hey, listen, you've been given it. Let's see if you can take it. Okay? But anyway, as I said before, I hope Tyson Fury wins this third fight. Just end Wilder. Just put him out of his misery and everybody else's misery, please. But I do think that Deontay Wilder is going to be very, very dangerous in this fight. Of what we've seen of Tyson Fury in his training, it ain't looking good for Tyson. It really ain't. But we've seen before, Tyson, he can spend 3 years out the ring, get up off the sofa and go defeat Wilder. We've seen him do it before in the first fight. So now, even just with a little bit of camp, albeit that's all been broken up and whatever else, should put Tyson Fury in pretty good stead. But at the same time, because he's been out of the ring for so long, we saw the performance with Tyson Fury when he fought Seferin and Francisco Pianeta after being out of the ring for a long time. Inactivity kills. Inactivity, I think, will probably benefit Wilder more than it will Fury. So don't be surprised if Deontay Wilder ends Tyson Fury in this fight and ends him quite emphatically as well. Don't be surprised about that. I said I hope that don't happen, but I really hope that don't happen. But don't be surprised. I get the impression Wilder wants this fight more than Fury. It does. So don't be surprised if Fury goes down. For those of you who think that Fury's got his iron chin, he can go down and get straight back up again. Don't be surprised if he goes down and don't get back up again. Don't be surprised in this one. So for all the talk, all the yapping that you guys have been doing for like the last week or so, it may come back to haunt you. Maybe there's a bit of karma in it. Maybe you should have really thought before you start spewing out hate. Eh? Anyway, let's see what happens. Deontay Wilder talking to himself. Nothing really to look into with that one, I suppose, in some ways. It's just him psyching himself up. But as I said before, you psych yourself up, Fury's no good. Fury ain't as good as what people think he is. He's just a cheater. And Fury starts dominating you. That's a long way to drop. And when you hit that ground, when the reality sets in, it hurts a lot more. A lot more. So we'll have to wait and see. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.